Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how I integrate Spring Boot microservices with Temporal. So Temporal is something like a microservice orchestrator, or for my case I have a workflow that need coordinations between services. So I need to use something like Temporal. My initial thought would be using something like Kafka, but since I think that would be quite complex to use Kafka for simple workflow, so after researching and also asking ChatGPT, obviously it suggests me to use Temporal. So let's see how Temporal can help you also to set up your workflow quickly. But before that, there are some caveats, some heads up you need to know. So I have like 10 hours Temporal experience. So yeah, there's no advice here, just demo. The implementation in this video is not guaranteed to be the correct implementation, just for demonstration purpose, so you can grab the code and run your workflow quickly, use it at your own risk, and also read the docs. They have an AI assistant which is very helpful, I think powered by ChatGPT. Anyways, enough with the procedures. Let's go ahead and see the demo first. Okay, so I have my setup here. So this is Temporal demo. I have 3 services. Let me increase the font size a bit. Channel font. Okay, 15 would be ideal. Okay, so I have 3 services here: order service, payment service, and shipping service. So the workflow I will show you, and I have the parent module here in Maven, which has all the dependencies here. So the only new dependency for Spring developer would be this one, and otherwise I have very standard Spring Boot starter. And also I'm using Postgres in this video, Spring Data GPA, and nothing special. So yeah, that's it. And all these services are inheriting these settings. So let me show you. Actually, the flow is running. So let me switch to service tab here. So we have a lot of errors. No worries. So we have order service, payment service. Let's clear all this to see the log. So these are the 3 services. Let me show you the demo. So this is the Temporal instance, which I will show you how you can set up very quickly later. But first, this is order simulation. So I have, this is the endpoint. Okay, you need to trigger an endpoint to start the workflow. So let's try sending this request to the order service. Now send, and go to here to see the log. So I will hide this. Probably I will decrease the size, and you see that the log in the services are here. So yeah, so payment successful, and then this is shipping, and I think the workflow is also complete. Okay, so this is the flow. So place order, process payment, and process shipping, and finally complete the order. Okay, complete order is here. So I guess the length of this bar is the time it needs to run the process. Don't know why process payment is taking that long, but that is how it is run in my case. So these are the three different services, and they are orchestrated. They don't talk to each other, but orchestrated through the temporal server. So let me show you the diagram. So I have the temporal server here, and each these services will spawn a worker and communicate with the server to get the task that is assigned to them and execute that task. Yeah, and I have the workflow here. So create order, which is the responsibility of order service, process payment of this guy, process shipment of this guy, and finally update order. So how do I configure a workflow, right? So this is a workflow. Workflow would include multiple activities. So one service, in my case, would handle one activity. And these are the activity methods. So these are the two methods inside one activity. The payment service has only one method in one activity, the same as the shipping service. Now, yeah, that is the overview of the flow. And yeah, just as I promised, this is the code repo. Also in the description, if you are impatient, you can quickly grab this code and run and figure out the flow your own. But if you have some time to spare, maybe I think 30 minutes, can stay, and I walk you through all these things. And to set up this temporal, just pull this Docker compose file and run it. So there are some components here. Temporal would use Elasticsearch, not mandatory. This is for search, okay? Progress, this is mandatory, and some temporal related services here. And I'm using temporal UI here. Where's that? This is temporal UI, okay? That's it, I guess. Now go back to the code, okay? So the common task that a service need to do is to implement activity and create a worker and register with the temporal server that I will do that activity. So order service, the order service will do that, payment service will do that, the shipping service also will do that. But first, we need to see the workflow. Why do I configure the workflow? So all of these services need to have the knowledge of the workflow. So I put it in the pattern template, pattern module. So I'll go to here. So this is the workflow, okay? So probably you may find a better way to handle, to structure the code, but this is the workflow. And you annotate a workflow with workflow interface, and the method in the workflow would be workflow method, right? Very simple. So this method will eventually call the methods inside the activities. So I have also the activities here, also in the pattern module, because yeah, we have interface here, and later we will have implementation for these activities inside each service. So after creating the order workflow, you need to implement this interface, right? So this is the implementation of the workflow. Order workflow implementation. So these are I just copy and paste these settings from the demo project of Temporal. So this is, I don't know, you can configure your settings to to fit your needs. So this is the interval of retry from 1 to 10 seconds, but in the default, in the documentation, they put it like 100. So that is your choice. So these are the thing in the demo. So yep, and here is the most important thing, I guess. So this is the workflow implementation. So we have the order activity, right? The shipping activity and payment activity. These are containing the logic of the activities. So for example, let me go to order activity here. This is the interface. This is not used, so I will delete that. So there is a place order and there's a complete order. Okay. So that is the things that this depends on your need. So there's no hard rule for this. So I have place order, complete order, but you may have complex logic. So that is the order activity. The actually payment will come second. So payment, just have process payment, and the details would be the implementation inside the payment service. So same as shipping activity. So process the shipment here. So that's it, and this is the workflow. I add some log to see the event more clearly, but simply I call order activity place order to get the order ID. So if you want to get the value of the previous activity method, then you can do this and pass this into the other activities down in the workflow, right? So here I place the order, process the payment, process the shipment, and finally after that complete the order. Simple like that. And now let's go to the H service to see the implementation. So I have the order service here. Close all tab. Let's go to order service. Okay, so yeah, this order service is quite simple. I have one order repository to create and save the order. So the model would be order line, and product, but you don't need to go too deep into this now. This is very simple logic. And in here I have a workflow package where I put the implementation for the order activity. So it seems I deleted the method that in the interface, also deleted here. Okay, so this is where you implement the logic for the activity. So this one implement this order activity in the parent module. So in Spring Boot, so you need to mark this as component for convenience. So you will need to create an instance of this to pass in when you register a worker. So this is my solution after reading articles on the internet. Again, this is not guaranteed to be the right way to do things. I'm new to this. I'm not an expert. Okay. So these are very generic implementation of a place order. So I just create a new order and save it, return the ID and the update order. Not sure where it is used, but it is used inside the complete order here. So that is the logic inside the order activity. So let's go to the payment service, and you will see that it is similar. The implementation is similar. So we have the model here. I have just one payment and the repository, obviously, and this is the implementation. So the implementation of the activity is here. So also a component and create a payment entity and save to the database. Okay, so things is similar with shipping service model. Yeah, nothing fancy. repositories and the workflow implementation. Okay, so that is the model and the activity implementation. And finally, the most important thing, I guess, that I spent most of my time when setting up these things is how to register a worker for this. So I can see that we have one workflow here, which is the order workflow. Let me see, where is it? Let me see. Just okay, here. Java here. This is the workflow, the order workflow. So for this, I configure one task queue. You can think of the task queue. This is from my understanding. That is the queue that the worker can connect to get the task that is compatible to their capabilities. Yeah. So here it is. So the workflow, the task queue would be, let me see, the ref string. So I put it in an instant at constant here. So this is you when you register a worker. And also I hard coded the target, the server, the temporal server, but obviously you need to put this in a config. So probably a application.yaml or system environment. Okay, so let's go to the order service and see how to create a worker. So I create a config package here, and inside here is the logic to create the temporal worker. Okay, so again, this is copy and paste. I hard coded it here. So first I need to create a stub here, and then create a new client and create a factory. Also create a new worker. This is where I create a new worker and I specify the task queue here. So this is to say this worker will go to this task queue to fetch the task and register the workflow implementation types to this. Okay, so this is the order workflow implementation. And finally, put the order activity here, which I use AutoWire to let Spring Boot inject this instance here. That is why I need to mark this one as a component. So this is completely Spring Boot knowledge. So yeah, so I do this for all other services too. So it is pretty similar. So payment service, I also have config here. This is a config for temporal for payment service. Same task queue, right? But when you copy and paste, make sure you select the right instance type. So this is payment activity. This is order activity. Oh, actually, I can use order activity here. No problem. And finally, go to the shipping service, config, and yeah, exactly. So after this, I can start all the services and to create the order. So normally the order service would receive the request to get the order, right? So I create a controller here in the order service, and in this I have a record that will be sent to the controller to create the order. So I have a database here, product database, that is initialized with let me show you, initialized with 2 products. Okay, so I drop the products table, create new, and insert these two things. And then, so this is the product ID, and this is the number of that product. Okay. So this is the controller. Okay. So this is where you start the workflow. So yeah, it's pretty standard. Also, this knowledge is from the demo of Temporal. So I get a client. So this is inside the helper. This is I created. So there's nothing fancy. You just create a client with the server here. So go back to the controller, and we set the workflow option. Most importantly, set the task queue, and then create the workflow using this. And then I can start this. So this is the workflow, calling the method process order and passing. These are the parameters of this method. Okay, so go to process order. You see that we have customer ID, the map, order lines, and the amount. So exactly the order is here. So that's it. And now go back to workflow and try to create a new one. Okay, so let's see. Maybe Bob would want to create an order, a new order. Okay, so here by Bob. Okay, 20, and I'm going to click send here. I go to Temporal, refresh, and you see that a new workflow is running. So let's click here. See that the workers are here, but it's not updating live. So maybe you will see something differently. So maybe more than 3 workers. I'm not sure. If you restart your things a lot, you see that? It's just refresh. I go back to history here, pending activities, and these are the errors that freak me out. Something is wrong, but probably I guess the worker would Temporal would select the worker in, I don't know, the mechanism, but if a worker from the order service, then it cannot process an activity from the payment service. That's my guess. But after a while, then it finds the right worker, and then the flow just go and success. So let's see here. It is stuck. It's stuck. Okay, at place order. Yeah, this is the initial phase. So go back to IntelliJ to make sure there's nothing wrong. Okay, so there's something wrong here. Okay, so obviously I need to restart this. Something wrong in this Spring Boot side, not the Temporal side. So we will see that I don't need to create a new order, but this will run correctly. That is, I find this very amazing. So place order, let's see. Okay, no error here. So let's see if we can get placeholder running correctly. Alright, next we try. So pending activities, let's see, placeholder. Okay, so it's not registered. So the worker in this shipment service is given this task, I guess. Okay, and say that it's not. So this is also the payment, and eventually it will get the right worker. Something that should be configurable here, but yeah, let's see. Okay, just let me see. Next we try less than 10 seconds. Let's wait just a bit more, I guess. Hey, 4 seconds. Should be running this time. Okay, see that? Place order is done. Then it will go ahead and run the subsequent activities. So place order is done here. Let me see. Then yeah, process payment also done. I guess it gets lucky to get the right worker here this time. So we have process shipment properly running. So we can also always go to the, let me see, pending activity 0, assume everything is done. Okay, cool. So go to workflow, it's completed. Let's go to the database. Okay, let's see. So now is this time, I don't know, 4 p.m. Okay, 4 p.m. 18. Okay, so the order, let's refresh this. So actually this one 1 minute ago completed. Yep, by Bob. See, and let's go to payment service, payable payment, and also yeah, payment success about 1 minute ago, success. And also the shipping service, we have the shipment here, shipped. Okay, so that's it. That is the whole flow. So I think this is very useful whenever we have workflow to run. So for example, this is from my need that I need to create videos from images and then do some post-processing. So that was really 2 or 3 steps. And with Temporal, after setting up, I just need to focus on my logic in the services, in the Spring Boot, if I use Spring Boot or other things. So hopefully this is helpful to you guys. And once again, this is not an expert opinion, but it is a quick demo, so you can pull and see it running. So yeah, hopefully I save you some time. Thank you very much, and I see you in next video.